Hello guys, it's Diego here, and this video is for you if you are a gay, bi, or queer man who is struggling with self-confidence issues. Perhaps you have all the areas of your life that you feel that you've figured out, but for some reason you have this lingering, like self-confidence, self-esteem issues that you can't seem to get around. So I'm gonna share some reflections on that, and hopefully you can take away some next steps to reflect in your own life. And I want to recognize that for most of us, we spend a good amount of our lives trying to please others, trying to get approval, trying to get validation. And that is because when we were growing up when we were kids, when in our teens, we had this belief that there was something wrong with us, and because society rejected who we are, perhaps you had issues with your parents, like accepting and when you were coming out. And even if you haven't fully come out yet, even still today, you definitely have some sort of like shame around being gay, and that because we felt that there was something wrong with us, we had to mold into society standards. And the result of that is that we forgot our true wishes, our true wants, our goals, and what we really want in life. And of course, nowadays, that's gonna have an impact on our self-confidence. It's almost like we forgot a good part of ourselves, like an important part of ourselves that is, like our deepest wishes, our profound goals and objectives, and that perhaps you forgot that to get like a high-paying job, or you married a woman in the first place because you tried to hide, you tried to reject for yourself your own sexuality. And over time, that's gonna impact even more our self-confidence. Because we're not nourishing the deepest parts of ourselves. That deep part of us, I want to feel seen and hold and expressed as you truly are. So it's not a surprise that a lot of us struggle to believe in ourselves. You question your worth. You feel that sometimes you perceive yourself as being less than others, or that you deserve less than others, because you're not nourishing the deepest part of yourself, that it is who you are, because you're trying to be someone else that you're not. And in my own life, for a very good part of my life, I was very shy, insecure. I couldn't even communicate properly with other people in like group situations. I was always on the corners on my own. And if someone approached me to talk about something, I would kind of reply, but I was never like able to form a conversation in general, unless it was like with close friends that I had some intimacy already. But I never knew that has anything to do with my sexuality or with me being gay until just a few years ago, when I started like doing a lot of inner work and like healing and therapy. That I was like, okay, I'm now an adult, and I have all these issues, and where are they coming from? Because I thought, I would get a job, I would live on my own, and then everything's gonna figure it out for itself, and it didn't, and it doesn't. And that's where I kind of started like going really deep and inner and within myself to figure out what was really going on. And I had this belief that I deserved less than others, that because I grew up listening, that being gay was wrong. And when I was a kid, there was no much representation of like gay couples in TV or, anywhere. And I had this belief that there was something wrong with me, and therefore I was worth less than others because it wasn't conscious, and that caused me depression, anxiety, like this social anxiety. and just like shyness in general, which I still am, but it's not that I perceive myself to be less than others nowadays. It's just that I'm more reserved and I'm more quiet in general. I just don't like to talk a lot, and I just want to share something when I feel like it, not just for the sake of saying something, like in a group setting, for example. But it's not overwhelming for me anymore, like this kind of like social situations as it used to be in the past. But this is just one example for you. It can show up in different ways, perhaps in romantic relationships or at work. I also struggle at work to feel worthy, to ask for pay rise when I feel that I deserved it, or to even like look for better opportunities. And so it can show up in different ways. So now I want to share a few reflections on things that you can reflect on in your own life, and in what areas do you feel like that you lack self-confidence. Is it at work, with a partner, or with family, or with friends in general, like making new friends? I know a lot of us struggle with like this sense of community and sense of belonging, I myself included. And the first thing is important to reflect on what really matters to you. And we humans, we tend to go with the flow a lot. And I think that in the gay community, there's a lot of separation and, like blogs and groups of people doing the same things, and you have to fit into like a bear group or like twink or whatever. And we kind of created this like micro identities for ourselves, and perhaps you feel like you need to fit in into those different criteria and areas. But it's important to notice what matters to you, like your passions, your values, your dreams, and you can reflect on those and perhaps write about it or do some research online about a specific topic that you want to learn more about. And our values change throughout time as well. My values certainly changed a lot in the last few years as I was doing more inner work. And perhaps in the past you used to go out more, or you had more casual sex, or you felt like you needed to go out all the time, but now you're valuing more alone time. You want to develop new skills and you want to learn new hobbies, and that's fine. So you just need to be firm with those desires, that our values change. It's not going to be the same forever. So first, reflection is just like reflecting what really matters to you and to you only. The second topic is to challenge your negative thoughts and your negative beliefs. Who told you you are not enough as you are? Who told you you deserve less in life? Or who told you you deserve less than a colleague at work? That you feel that you're not at the same level? But who told you that? Or is it just your own internal belief? So it's important to pay attention to these negative thought loops that we do it automatically, and our minds has this negative bias that we hold on to the negative thoughts way more than the positive ones. And we suffered a lot of homophobia and a lot of discrimination as we were growing up, and when you were kids you thought there was something wrong with you. And that's where all of these like negative thoughts originated. So it's up to us now to catch those. And you know what? I'm gonna rewrite this story, and I do deserve more, and I am worth it as I am now, and I have the same rights as everyone else. So sometimes I have to be a bit more active in those like thought loops, because it just happens I have it all the time. And yesterday I wasn't feeling good. I was planning to record this video yesterday, And I was just, very bad day in general. So I gave up on my planning on recording, and I just sat with myself and rest. I stayed in bed for a few hours. And I was like, oh, you know what? Tomorrow is a new day. Tomorrow it's gonna be different, and I'm gonna try again tomorrow, and then that's fine. So it's not that something didn't work out today, that I'm a failure, that nothing really works out in my life, that never things are gonna work out for me. So start questioning those thoughts and perhaps pause like an action plan that you have and try again tomorrow. Perhaps you're just tired. But the most important thing is to pay attention to our negative behavior and to our negative like self-talk. The third thing that I want to share today is to set healthy boundaries and prioritize your self-care. I briefly touched on those already, but important to learn what type of activities drain your energy, like dating apps, for example. I I started paying attention in the last few years that I was, like on Grindr for half an hour, and then I was like drained and tired and with a low mood afterwards. Like all that scrolling and that mindless chat that didn't go anywhere, and like the frustration that maybe there was something that I was looking for and I wasn't really sure what it is. And then I deleted for a while, and then I downloaded again, and it was kind of the same thing. And I've been off apps for quite a while, for now at least. I don't know in the future, but it's something that in my life I noticed that it was draining my energy. Not only was just like, like my own time that I was just like wasting with something that didn't bring me anything back, but also I was feeling more down afterwards, more depressed and like with low mood. And sometimes we just don't realize where those feelings are coming from. So it's important to set boundaries. So if you feel that if you're gonna be on an app for like an hour, spending like an hour of your day, and if you're feeling bad afterwards, so perhaps you need to pause that activity, not do that for a while, and then maybe see how you feel, and do something for yourself with that hour that you would spend on an app. Doing self-care or like having a bath or like reading a book, like learning or reading about something useful online, or just like going for a walk outside and going to the park or being with nature. There's so many options. And it's incredible how much time we spend on like mindless scrolling on social media or like dating apps without even realizing, and afterwards we feel even worse that we don't really pay attention to that. So, and the final thing that I want to share today is it's important to surround yourselves with supportive people, and sometimes that would involve also moving on from old friendships that are not in alignment with yourself anymore. As I mentioned at the beginning, our values are always changing as we grow. And so perhaps the types of people in your life right now are not resonating with who you want to be anymore. And perhaps it meant some courage in saying no, and like slowly moving away from some of those people in your life, maybe friends or like family, I don't know, because we need to surround ourselves with people that support us, to have supportive people that want to achieve the same things as we do, that people that inspire us and that want to see us grow and develop and achieve more, and not the opposite, and not people who are just looking for party every weekend and that they want to live the lives as it is the final day of their lives. And of course, some enjoyment and fun is important, but it's also like a balance, right? We need to focus on ourselves and our own development. And I feel that a lot of us in our community struggle to grow up sometimes, and that is my own personal opinion. You don't have to agree with me. It's almost like we don't want to grow, we want to stay in that adolescent mind until we grow old. So it's important that you pay attention if you have some sort of behavior like this in your life, and see how that is impacting your self-confidence in the long term. So that's all that I had to share for today. Let me know in the comments how you're getting on with your own self-confidence, and if any of what I share has been helpful. I hope it has. And I hope to see you again very soon. Have a good day. Bye bye.